Last week, one of my friends who I've known since childhood was back in town one last time before he moves to a new state for a new job to be with his girlfriend. We got together with the rest of the boys at one of the homies' cribs, and we were having a good time. We're having a few beers, chilling in the hot tub, playing pool, and we decided around midnight to cap it off by going to a diner nearby and get some food. So we head over to this diner and we get a round table, and I'm sitting in the very corner of this booth. Um, we order our food, and then we start screwing around with a ping pong ball, and we're bouncing on the table to try and land in one of the cups of water. We're just being silly, doing silly shit. And as we're being served our food, our waitress asks me, "How old are you?" Now, I knew something was up as soon as she asked me this question, but I started answering it before I came to that realization, so I let out a 25, like a little confused. And then she walks away, and of course, my friends start clowning, like, "Ooh, who's the girl? Who's looking at you?" And I'm kind of like embarrassingly smiling, but I just ignore it and I get started on my omelet. A little while after I finished eating, I catch this girl who's basically fully swinging her body outside of the booth seat, and she's looking at me. And as soon as we make eye contact, she slides back into her seat, and I can't see her anymore because she's facing the same direction that I'm in. But I see that she has a blonde friend sitting across from her. Well, we're waiting for our check, and these two girls get up and walk out. And I can't lie, the girl who I caught looking at me looked very good. I didn't see her face, but from behind, I could tell she was a smoke show. So, anyways, the waitress comes back to our table, and I forget what she said, but she hands me a receipt with a girl's name and number on it. And I think she asked me if I knew who it was, and I said, "Yeah, I could tell, brown haired girl." Apparently, the waitress knew her personally, so I asked her what she's like. So she describes her as shy, a good family girl, and that she's hot stuff, so I should definitely ask her out. And she also says I should bring her back to the diner on our first date so she can see how it goes. Well, we get up to pay our bill, and my friends are laughing at this point. They're asking me, "What are you going to text her?" And they're getting nosy, and the waitress actually says to text her now because apparently that was the message she passed along or something like that. So I send her a flirty text, and that was it. I didn't get a response back, so I drop my homie off. I get home and I go to bed. And then the next morning, she texts me back, and we start chopping it up a bit. But it wasn't long until I realized, like within the first 10 text messages, something is up here. She's acting kind of off. Like she sends a darts game, but then she doesn't continue playing after my turn. She says she was too drunk to remember the night before, or excuse me, she was too drunk the night before to remember what I looked like, and I'm still flirting a bit, but I can tell she's playing games. Like, when a girl's playing games, you feel it. She asks if I have Insta, and eventually she wants a photo of me. She wants to like confirm what I look like. So I jokingly say, "Okay, let's do a photo swap." I send her something, and immediately she sends me 3 photos back. And I can't lie, guys. She was indeed hot stuff. She was probably the hottest girl I'd ever gotten a number from, and definitely a 10 out of 10 in the looks department, in my opinion. But by this point, the texting is getting dry, and my friends keep asking me for the play-by-play, which was kind of annoying, but at this point, I'm having more fun with my boys in the group chat than I am texting this girl. Like, one of my buddies called me a silent Rizzlord or something like that, which just made me laugh so hard. But eventually, we figure out a day when she's free, and I offer 4:30 for gelato. I'm thinking, hey, I'm flirting a bit. She thinks I'm cute. Let's get this date scheduled. And she ghosted me. And quite honestly, fellas, I was not even upset. Because like I said, I could tell from the first 10 minutes of our conversation that this girl was most likely not for me. Have you ever been texting somebody and you think, huh, this feels really off? I could tell that she was either looking for me to give her free validation or simp for her, and I was not going to do either of those because I know my worth, and this kind of behavior is not what I'm interested in. And some outside observers may view this as me fumbling a 10 out of 10 and I'm trying to get back here, but let me ask you all this. Why would I be upset over somebody that is offering extremely little? And that's the reason why I'm making this video and talking about this story today. Is because young guys, we are making the biggest mistake of giving away our self-respect. Our generation is so gooner brained now that we can't help it. Like, social media has really done a number on us. And we give out free validation thinking that if we give this girl attention, they will like us and then she'll want to sleep with us or whatever. And it simply doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert on women or dating at all here. Like, I'm really not. Like, my experience is actually fairly limited, I would say. But I will say that if there's one thing I've learned, it's that as guys, we really need to have higher standards, not only for the people we want to date, but for ourselves. Giving out unnecessary compliments and being needy are the best ways to make a girl lose attraction to you. And I know because I made these two very big mistakes in my most recent relationship, and I got dumped in part because of it. Not totally because of it, but in part because of it. And that rejection was extremely painful, but it was also one of the best experiences I ever learned from. But that's a story for another day. The reality is that most of us want to be able to be with someone that loves and cares about us. Like, that's how we're hardwired as human beings, right? And any girl, no matter how good looking, that only cares about being the center of attention or having people kiss ass because she was born with a good one is, in my view, not attractive. And I said it. If you have good looks, but you have nothing to go with it, you are not attractive. Yes, you can be hot stuff like this waitress described, right? But for myself, looks aren't enough anymore, Chief. I don't know what else to say. And maybe I'm too mature for my age here. Like, I'm 25, and some people say to just enjoy your youth, have your fun, screw around. But honestly, that's not for me, because based on the experience I have had, I know for myself that I value a deep connection and emotional intimacy over just looks. I have standards for myself and better things to do than to spend time on trying to sleep around with women I probably wouldn't even like. That's what self-respect is in my view. And what's funny to me personally about this all is that the old me would have definitely been tripping over himself for this gal. And the other part of it is that I found out later on that one of my boy's girlfriend, his girlfriend met this girl one time through a mutual acquaintance, and the one time she met her, she was hammered as shit at this party. And so, like, yeah, she just wants to drink every weekend and get fucked up. Like, that's so not for me. So honestly, I was totally cool with this not working out. It felt like I dodged a bullet, honestly, by not playing into her little games. So guys, if you're ever getting to know a girl, it's obviously okay to show interest and flirt, right? But don't get pulled in too quickly. Like, really screen for what's important to you. And for example, like values, right? How they handle conflicts, how they treat other people like strangers, and how they deal with a setback or an inconvenience. And especially communication, right? How do they communicate? Are they good at communicating? Things like that are way more important in determining someone's character, because you can't figure out someone's character just from how they look. And I think I've made it clear at this point, but just to emphasize it, have self-respect. Like, please have self-respect. Selling pieces of that away just to get something from somebody in return is going to lead to a depressing life where you can't even trust yourself. And while that may not sound easy to do, because if you're used to giving it away so easily, it's not, but it is doable. Um, Maybe I'll talk about this in another video. It's definitely a process to build up, but that's the point, right? Engage in the process of building, practicing, and exuding self-respect. That is the most attractive quality one can have. So anyways, that's it from me today. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you're interested in more, click subscribe, and have a great weekend. Peace.